Think getting hired is just about finding a job online, clicking apply, and waiting to hear back? I hate to break it to you, it's not even close. In this segment, I'll show you how the hiring ecosystem really works behind the scenes, why some jobs are never posted, and how recruiters are using LinkedIn to make decisions long before your resume is ever seen. If you've been spinning your wheels, this will help everything start to click. Most job seekers think the process is simple. A company has an opening, they post the job, you apply, done, right? Not even close. The hiring process is a machine with multiple moving parts. And if you don't understand it, you are playing blind. So let's break it down. Step one, the company identifies a need. Every job opening starts with a need. Perhaps someone got promoted or left a vacancy. The company is growing, they need a new role, or someone quit or left for another opportunity. Or let's be real, someone just got fired and they need a replacement who can actually do the job. At this point, the executive team and leadership have already determined the company's hiring strategy, and that strategy dictates everything that happens next. Is there a hiring freeze? Nothing moves forward. If the role is approved, the hiring manager and HR take over. So then they define the role and make the job posting. The hiring manager works with HR to nail down the details, job responsibilities, required skills, knowledge, abilities, qualifications, salary range, benefits. They use all that and create a job description, assign it a requisition number, and if the company is large enough, they upload it into their database, the applicant tracking system. Then they'll decide where to post the job. Here's what most job seekers don't realize. Every job board costs money. So companies do not just blast their openings everywhere for free. They choose where to post based on budget, strategy, and hiring urgency. That's why some jobs never get publicly posted. And it's why networking is key. Step 3, the role can go public, maybe. If the company decides to post the job, they might put it on LinkedIn or their own website or industry-specific job boards or general job sites like Indeed or ZipRecruiter. And then you, the job seeker, become aware of the role. And if it looks like a good fit, you apply. But here's where things get interesting. When you submit your application, it goes into the applicant tracking system. And this is where keywords, formatting, and ATS-friendly resumes become essential. Because before a recruiter even looks at it, the system is scanning and ranking candidates. And at the same time, the company's internal HR team may realize they need help. And so they reach out to external resources, staffing agencies for temporary or contract roles, or executive search firms and external recruiters for specialized, high-level roles. But here's the catch. Those recruiters can only submit candidates if the company has opened that specific role to them. That's why not every job is accessible to every recruiter. And the type of contract and relationship that a recruiter has with a company sets the rules for the game. Some employers do not want to pay anything unless the role is filled by the recruiter. And then they open it up to multiple firms at the same time. This means it is a rat race, and whoever submits you first wins, claiming you as theirs. So they might get paid. And that's why waiting for a recruiter to find you isn't a strategy. And it's why recruiters get pissed when they learn you already applied to the company's website or through another recruitment firm. Now, what this means for you, if you are relying on job boards and applications, you are missing out on the hidden job market. If you do not understand how ATS systems rank resumes, you're getting screened out before a human ever sees your name. And if you are not actively networking, engaging, and making yourself visible, you are just another resume in the people pile. So, do you want to keep playing the job search lottery? Or do you want to position yourself where real opportunities happen? Because understanding this process isn't just an advantage. It is the difference between struggling to get noticed and being the candidate who gets the call. And let's just clarify this for a second. What is an interview? Think about it. What is an interview? It is a conversation that may happen as part of a formal process where a company is trying to fill a specific opening. Or you might just consider it's a conversation that might lead to a job. So here's the thing. If an interview is just a conversation that might lead to a job, and you know if you just submit your resume blindly, it is really hard to get seen and noticed. It's like you're getting sucked into that black hole. But is there another way? There's always people asking me, come on, if I can't get in the front door, can I get in the side door? Is there an in? Give me an in. How can I get an in at the company? How can I get an in so I get seen? Well, LinkedIn is the largest professional network on the planet. With over 1 billion users, this is not a platform you can afford to ignore. If you're not on it or not using it right, you are leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. Okay, so LinkedIn isn't just another social media platform. It is where careers are made. Here's why LinkedIn matters. Over 20 million job listings are available at any given moment. And get this, every single minute there are 8 people hired and 9,000 apply. That's right, while you're scrolling, opportunities are passing you by, but here's the kicker. 87% of recruiters are on LinkedIn regularly hunting for candidates. And of those people who recently landed new jobs, 75% used LinkedIn in their job search. You see the pattern here? It is not by chance, it's by design. And how about this? 35% of LinkedIn users find jobs through referrals on the platform. That is 1/3 of people getting hired just by knowing the right people. And guess where those connections are being made? On LinkedIn. This platform is an absolute goldmine for career growth if you use it right. The question is, are you ready to dig in and claim your share? Let's talk about how hiring really works in the real world. Picture this orchard. Beautiful trees full of fruit, but here comes a dog. And it is going to go straight for the low-hanging fruit. Why? Because it's easy. The same thing happens in the hiring process. Hiring processes have timelines, and sometimes the executive team states if a position isn't filled by X time, then it won't get filled. So, because of this time crunch, the reality is some recruiters and hiring managers tend to go for the easiest options. Candidates who are already in their network, who are highly visible, or who've made it ridiculously simple to see their value. Now, what does that mean for you? If you're sitting at the top of the tree, hidden behind leaves, waiting for someone to discover you, you might get overlooked. But if you position yourself strategically, showing up in the right places, highlighting your skills clearly, and being easy to connect with, then you become that low-hanging fruit that they can't resist. So the goal isn't to work harder, It's to make it easier for them to pick you. And so there's lots of times candidates would ask me if I could put in a good word for them. They wanted an in. If it was really hard to get in through a traditional channel, the front door, by blind applying, then is there a side door? Could they get an in? Let's look back at our hiring ecosystem for a moment. And look at this. Here are all of the people in the hiring ecosystem who are also on LinkedIn, and this is your in. All of these people are also on LinkedIn, and if they come across your information and you look like an interesting person, then in the lowest hanging fruit kind of philosophy, they may engage with you and ask you more and try to get to know you just from being on LinkedIn. So yes, there are formal channels, but there are also informal channels being used all of the time. Remember that 35% of people got jobs because they were referrals. How did they get those referrals? Not all companies are large enough or have the financial resources to pay for a premium job search tool like LinkedIn Recruiter. Lots of companies and people in them have regular old LinkedIn just like you. And along the way, they made connections with other people and they found people that seemed interesting. And let's be real, sometimes the HR person doesn't actually have the background to know what is or isn't in the applicant tracking system or how to evaluate a candidate. But the hiring manager, the team, their manager, they have the ability to make matches based on actually understanding the nuance of the position. As an example, after I was laid off, I applied to several jobs and I'd started being more active on LinkedIn. And so recruiters were starting to contact me to see if I could be interested in their company and their position. Now remember, I went to grad school and got my PhD in polymer science. Does anybody know about polymers here? Okay, so this recruiter asks me, now remember, I got my PhD in polymer science. And even in undergrad, my honors project was actually working on chain transfer agents and organic synthesis. So this recruiter, with all the sincerity and seriousness in the world, says to me, I understand that you have worked with polymers, but this position also requires somebody who's worked with monomers. Now, have you actually also worked with monomers? Ugh. This recruiter legitimately did not know. Monomers are the building blocks of what make polymers, okay? This recruiter did not know that. They didn't understand. And here's why that matters. If 87% of recruiters are regularly searching LinkedIn for talent, then you need to make sure that your information on LinkedIn speaks not just to the technical experts, but also to the career influencing gatekeepers who don't understand the complexity of your work or your knowledge. But the hiring manager, their team, they're going to know more. They're going to have better insight into exactly what you're doing, but they may be trusting HR has a handle on it. So, people don't just want a job, they want an in. And if an interview is just a conversation that may lead to a job, look at all these opportunities for ins through LinkedIn. Look at all these possible opportunities for conversations that might lead to a job. And this is why networking and relationships are inside tracks to the hiring process. So here's the truth. The hiring process is not a straight line. It is a complex ecosystem, and if you don't understand it, you are playing blind. But now you know recruiters, referrals, visibility, and your network matter more than ever, and LinkedIn is your way in. In part 3, we will dive into step 1, optimize, and I'll show you how to build a LinkedIn profile that actually works for you. Because brilliance means nothing if no one can see it.